Hey, what is going on, guys? Today I want to do a quick short video on how to convert your fuel system to a return style fuel system. I've been getting a lot of questions about it on my channel and on the Turbo Mazda for Dummies group. This video will focus on the Mazda 3. This video also applies to a lot of other cars. The concept is the same. So the components you're going to need to convert to a return style system are fuel pressure regulator, aftermarket fuel pump, fuel line, fuel fittings, either a new fuel rail with a port for a return line, or you have to modify your existing fuel rail. Those are the only parts you need to convert to a return style system.
So this is just a diagram that shows the difference between a return style system and a returnless or deadhead system. So in the return style system, you just run your two fuel lines, one feed, one return. In the return line, you want to make sure that it runs through the fuel pressure regulator, and then what this allows you to do is you can hardwire your pump, so the pump can be running at max capacity, and then the fuel pressure regulator can just bleed off any excess fuel and send it back to the fuel tank.
So I'm just going to kind of show you what I did in my 3. To start with, I have my fuel rail. This is an OBX racing fuel rail. It was about 90 bucks. It's specific to the Mazda 3 / Sport Focus platform. They ship it with fittings, O-rings. It's basically a fuel rail with a port on this side and a port on that side. And it bolts right in. Nothing complicated. All it allows me to do is put a line on this end. The next part is my fuel pressure regulator, which is not mounted correctly right now, but don't mind that. So the fuel pressure regulator obviously regulates your fuel. This can be mounted wherever. In my case, there is a little threaded portion on the coolant block that all these Mazda 3s have. So I just mounted it there. But I think the bolt vibrated loose, so I'm gonna have to figure out a solution to that. That's another story. So in my case, I didn't want to deal with making steel braided lines because I didn't have a vise and kind of need a vise to make those lines. So I searched for some kind of push lock line that was resistive to E85, and luckily I found some at a local shop. The line has Viton on the inner line, so Viton is resistive to E85, so that's important. If you use just regular fuel hose that you get from AutoZone, the E85 will actually eat through the line eventually. First, it'll just start kind of like eating away at it, and then you'll just smell gas like inside the car. So I needed about 20 feet. If you see, here are my lines. This is my return. This goes back to the tank. This is what comes from the tank. Very simple. I just zip tied it to the original fuel line, this is the original line. I just left it. I just zip tied it to that and ran it to the back of the car. You will also need a fuel pressure gauge. This is like 20 bucks off Amazon, and this is basically, you can either get this, get one that you can put in the cabin so you can watch your fuel pressure at all times. Those gauges are a little more expensive, like 200 bucks. This is $20, and anytime you pop your hood, you can see the fuel pressure, but the way you want to use it is to basically set your base fuel pressure. So you set it and you forget it. So the final part of this is your fuel pump. In my case, I upgraded to an AEM 340 pump, which can handle E85. On a lot of cars, when you take out the back seat, you can easily access the fuel pump like this. On the Mazda 3, when you take out the back seat, it's just like this. Literally the only thing you can do is unplug this guy. You cannot access the rest of it. So as you can see by these very sharp edges, I used an air nibbler, which is basically a sheet metal cutter. So I modified the stock fuel pump housing. I cut this nipple off because this is right here. This is the stock fuel line. This is my return line. This is a bulkhead fitting, and then this is just some epoxy to seal it. This is the new feed, and I just ran them. If you look down here, you can't really see, but down here just goes to the bottom of the car, and then it just shoots out to the engine bay. I do plan on taking apart the fuel pump in the winter and just looking inside the gas tank, making sure everything is good. So I will make another video going a little more in depth on how I modified the stock fuel pump housing, because it took a few tries to get it right, but once I figured out what to do, I mean, it's not hard at all. That's all for this video, guys. I hope this helped you out. If there's something I didn't cover or you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later.